Harvest releases in 16 to 22 hours, 59 minutes. Check it out. Harvest official trailer.
Though this land is shrouded in pain and darkness, it teems with life. Behold this sacred grove. With forethought, we may bend life to our will. To remake the world as we see fit. But beware, nature protects itself.
Holy shit, Path of Exile is becoming a farming simulator?
But do not forget, whatever you sow, you must harvest.
So you get to plant crops and harvest?
In the Harvest League, seek out the seed cache in every area you explore. Take its seeds through Oshabi's portal to the Sacred Grove. Sow those seeds to grow dangerous and rewarding monsters. When they are ready for harvest, slaughter them and extract their life force.
Looks like Arc is getting a little rework there. Looks like it's got some new
Use this life force to easily
animation.
craft powerful items.
Actually,
Store the leftover life force to fertilize higher tiers of seeds. Discover rare seeds that yield exotic crafting options or dangerous endgame bosses. In addition to many new items and skills, this expansion also contains major revamps to the passive skill tree, war cries, slam skills, brands, and over 50 unique items.
oh shit.
The harvest begins on June 19.
Okay. I will be playing this dude. This looks really cool. Let's see if Ziggy got a video. Does around the same. I want to see if it does before I check out anything.
G'day, I'm Ziggy D, and here is Path of Exile Harvest.
Behold this sacred grove.
After a league of delirium intensity, things are getting decidedly more cozy. No timers, no clear speed rush. It's time to farm. In Path of Exile's most literal sense of the word to date. Ushabi of the Asmeri has discovered the sacred grove, left behind by an ancient people. The Asmeri people shun superstitious things, so we are her best option in exploring its esoteric power. As we explore the world in Harvest, we'll now be able to discover caches containing a variety of seeds. We can collect these seeds and then take them to the Sacred Grove. In the Sacred Grove, we'll be able to grow our seeds into beautiful crops of monsters. This is Path of Exile after all. What, did you think we'd be harvesting vegetables?
Yeah.
Seeds can be planted however you like in the grove, but you'll want to place collectors nearby to harvest the juicy life force when they bloom. When a harvest is made, we'll be able to use that life force to fuel powerful new crafts. Previous League mechanics have focused on giving players tons of items as they progress, but with Harvest League, Grinding Gear Games is trying to shift the dynamic. Monsters from seeds in the Grove will drop better loot than regular monsters, but the core reward for this league is from the crafting itself. The philosophy is that rather than processing a large number of rares to find good loot, players will be able to regularly craft themselves powerful upgrades. GGG is aware that if they want to explore toning back constant loot explosions, the crafting needs to be very powerful to compete. Crafting, for example, will include options to create new items with specific modifiers, add guaranteed modifiers to existing items, change sockets, transform currency, and other powerful options for us to discover. Each seed harvested adds a specific crafting option to the collector, as well as some life force. Life force must either be spent to use crafting options or condensed for other purposes in the garden later. It adds a
Ted Wild Universe events life force per the growth cycle requires 4 adjacent primal plants. At least tier 1 to grow. Reveals a random crafting changes the element of mental modifiers when harvested.
specific crafting option to the collector, as well as some life force. Life force must either be spent to use crafting options or condensed for other purposes in the garden later. When you make a harvest, you'll need to be ready with items to craft, but the good news is that each seed and plant will tell you what sort of crafts it could give. For example, a plant that specifies a physical craft could reforge an item with a physical modifier, add a physical modifier like a powerful Exalted Orb, remove a specific physical modifier like an Annul, or re-roll a physical modifier like a Divine.
There's a random physical modifier crafting effect when harvested.
If you wanted a specific physical craft, you might opt to plant a bunch of the same type of seed to grow for a specific craft.
For a physical modifier?
Each craft costs a set amount of life force, and unused life force can be condensed for irrigation of other seeds. So let's run through the basic how-to for green farming it up in Path of Exile Harvest. As you proceed on your travels, collect seeds from seed caches out in the wild. You can go through a portal to the grove right away, or you can hold onto your seeds for planting later. When you're ready to grow, plant your seeds around a collector. Seeds come in 3 types: wild, primal, and vivid. Plant seeds around a collector of the same type so you can harvest their life force when they're grown. Each seed takes a number of growth cycles to mature. A growth cycle occurs every time you open a seed cache out in the wild. So 5 growth cycles would be 5 seed caches. Once seeds are fully grown, you can activate the collector to fight the monsters and harvest their life force and access their crafting options. Make sure to condense and store any unused life force for later irrigation. Some condensed life force can be stored in collectors, but condensers can be built to hold larger amounts. Condensed life force cannot be used for crafting, but it's important for growing higher tier seeds. And on that note, seed monsters will sometimes drop tier 2.
So you have to craft with them like right after you harvest, otherwise you can't craft with them.
Seeds. These require more complex gardening to grow to maturity. A tier 2 seed may need to be planted alongside other types of seeds to grow, and they need irrigation with condensed life force. For this, you can build dispersers connected via piping to your condensers. These will moisten your seeds with life force as needed for them to grow. This tier 2 primal Rex seed, for example, requires 4 adjacent primal plants, and it needs irrigation with 10 units of wild life force per growth cycle to grow. Tier 2 seeds will offer more powerful rewards, including access to rare Tier 3 seeds. Gardens can be kept fairly simple, growing vast quantities of Tier 1 seeds, or they can be evolved into sprawling factories growing seeds of different tiers. Players who enjoy games like Factorio will likely go a little bit nuts over complex planning of gardens, while others should be able to engage in a simpler, more organic fashion. GGG says they've tried to layer this mechanic in a way that's easy to engage with basic growing, whilst still allowing for more complex garden builds for players who want to take it to the next level. It won't be necessary to constantly engage with your garden either. You can collect seeds while growth cycles happen in the background and harvest when you're ready. Nothing will die on the vine, and your plants will patiently wait for you to harvest them. Seeds can also be stored in dedicated seed storage, so no need to clutter your stash. Players will have precise control over the danger of each fight as well, since you'll know ahead of time which seeds you're planting and which monsters you'll be facing. For those wanting a challenge, dozens of plants can be harvested at once, and Tier 2 and 3 seeds will offer more dangerous monsters and boss fights. There'll be one boss fight for each of the 3 types of Tier 3 seeds, Primal, Wild, and Vivid. It's also rumoured that there is a rare 4th boss to be discovered. GGG wants to shake things up.
Maybe you have to craft it or
it's
something?
a very different pace compared to Delirium, with elements of the build-your-own-encounter gameplay explored in Metamorph. There's a lot less emphasis on being flooded with item drops here, and instead we're being offered what is said to be the most advanced League crafting system to date. A simple mechanic
cool.
at Tier 1, along with tradable seeds that have all of their relevant information available in-game, is aimed at getting everyone interacting with it at least on some level. Of course, Gardening League is not the only thing coming to Path of Exile in this expansion. So let's take a look at the new and reworked skills, passive skill tree changes, and new and reworked uniques coming alongside Harvest.
Okay, overall thoughts on the Harvest League so far. I think it looks cool. A nice change from Delirium looks nice. Some crafting, like kind of tailoring your own experience, like Metamorph is really cool. I like that. Yeah, overall it seems cool. Hopefully they're gonna add some new good skills and what Ziggy's gonna get into now. Check this out. Overall, seems promising. Looks like a nice, colorful, bright league. Doesn't really seem like it has mainly one color theme. If it does, well, I guess blue. But overall, seems pretty colorful, pretty cool. Powerful crafting seems nice because I plan on playing solo self-found, so that should be a good way to start the league on crafting.
First up, two-handed melee is getting some much-needed love. Big, slow attacks have often found themselves at the short end of the stick despite their usage of really big sticks.
That is really nice. G3 Iron was talking about that in the video we watched earlier. Two-hand really need a good rework, and it seems like they're really going to get that now. I think that's really good to the game. And they're falling behind for quite a while now. It'd be nice to see some big, heavy-hitting weapons. So hopefully, this will be a good, much-needed change for the game.
Two-handed weapon types are getting buffed, and passive skill tree support is being improved. Several melee skills have also now been recategorized as slam skills and reworked, enabling further heavy-hitting support. A lot of these changes will help one-handed weapons as well, but the focus here is on buffing two-handed attack styles. Fist of War is the new support gem for slam skills that sees a spirit supercharge your slam, adding a large amount of damage and AoE to the attack. It has a cooldown, so it works a lot better with slower hitting skills like Earthquake, where it'll activate on most of your attacks. Tectonic Slam has been reworked as well, now only consuming an endurance charge every 3 attacks, but scaling its area of effect based on your current total endurance charges. Stacking a large number of endurance charges is now more impactful, and maintaining endurance charges is easier, with the attacks being more consistent overall. Warcries are also seeing a large host of changes. 4 new Warcry skills are being added, and the 3 existing ones are being overhauled.
Damn, 4 new Warcry skills? That's pretty huge.
In general, Warcries are being made slower, but much more impactful, and more passive skill tree investment options will be available. Several Warcries also now have a new mechanic called Exert, which will make your next few attacks more powerful. Additionally, Warcries now take into account the power level of enemies rather than just how many are nearby. As a result, they will now be much more effective against bosses and other difficult monsters. One of the new Warcry skills is Seismic Cry. A fierce bellow knocks back nearby enemies and taunts them. Seismic Cry grants a buff that makes it easier to stun enemies and exerts your next few slam attacks, giving them more area of effect and damage. Rallying Cry's rework aims at giving a lot more support damage potential. Previously,
that Warcry along with the new support gem he said makes Earthquake builds sound really fun.
It granted mana regeneration and damage scaling. It no longer grants mana regen, but instead it adds a percentage of your weapon's damage to nearby allies depending on the power level of nearby enemies. It also exerts your next few attacks. Allies that can be buffed by Rallying Cry's added weapon damage can be other players or minions such as those summoned by Herald of Purity. Now, aside from the big stick melee, Brand skills are also seeing some major new additions and changes. GGG are aiming to make brand builds more interactive, while the most powerful Archmage brand builds will be getting nerfed. New options including 3 new brand skills are being added to the game to open up brand new playstyles. The first of these is Arcanist Brand. Like other brand skills, Arcanist Brand can be placed on the ground and it will attach itself to monsters. The kicker is that Arcanist Brand will trigger any other linked spells, so you'll now be able to turn almost any spell.
You can turn any spell into a brand now? Ooh, almost any spell? Holy crap. That's gonna be pretty cool.
Into a brand, even having it cast several different spells in sequence. Another new brand skill coming alongside Harvest is Penance Brand, which is a different take on the brand concept. When the Penance Brand attaches to an enemy, it starts building up energy and spreading it to other nearby enemies. When the brand is removed, the built up energy explodes, dealing physical and lightning damage. Multiple Penance Brands will be able to build up energy more quickly, and the design of the skill will let you trigger explosions through brand recall, enemies dying, or brands expiring. Other new skills and more details on reworks will be coming over the next couple weeks. Now, while Cluster Jewels last league shook up passive skill tree builds, the core passive skill tree hasn't seen a lot of change in a while. With Harvest, the passive tree will be blooming with new opportunities. In addition to new two-handed weapon support and Warcry nodes, there will be more support for other recent mechanics that don't currently have a lot of passive tree presence. The passive skill tree will also be getting new keystone passives, and some key.
The agnostic maximum energy shield is 0 while not on full life. Sacrifice 20% of mana per second to recover that much life. Huh. That's like a huge regen when you're not on full life. At the cost of a huge amount of mana. But that actually seems like a really good fucking heal over time.
Keystones from Timeless Legion Jewels are also being added to the core tree, such as the Agnostic. Legion Jewels will also be seeing some changes as a result. Path of Exile now has around 900 uniques in the game, and this expansion over 50 forgotten or lackluster uniques are being rebalanced or reworked. The Moonbender's Wing unique axe is our first example. It now gives 100% of your physical damage
Level 15 lightning warp.
lightning for a lot more damage potential. To make it truly unique though, it now triggers lightning warp when you attack an enemy, giving built-in teleport movement to skills like lightning strike or spectral throw, effectively creating a new playstyle.
What? That is pretty freaking cool though. Adding lightning warp to freaking
Wake of Destruction were one of the first uniques added to Path of Exile, and they've really fallen behind. The chance to flee mechanic is actively bad, and it's been removed, and instead the boots now leave a trail of shocked ground when you move, allowing you to cause nearby enemies to take more damage. Alongside the 50 or so reworked uniques, Harvest also brings a crop of 12 new uniques for us to farm for. Doriani's Prototype is a big new
Arcanist Prototype. This was the first step in some grand design lost to the ages, now is ours to decipher. Dominus High Templar. So it's got life, armor, energy shield, don't deal no lightning damage. Armor also applies to lightning damage when taken from hits. Lightning resistance does not affect lightning damage taken. Nice, have a license. Okay, so you pretty much use armor instead of lightning resistance, and probably for like a fizz build,
unique chest armor that
most likely, right? Because oh wait, no, because you're gonna go with armor. You're just gonna stack armor and not even worry about lightning res. So your lightning res will probably be like 0 or even negative. So then nearby enemies will have negative lightning res. So, but you can deal no lightning damage.
Scares me. Your lightning resistance will no longer affect you, with it instead being applied to nearby enemies. What this means is that you can run around with negative 60 lightning resistance to greatly enhance the lightning damage enemies take. To hopefully stop you from dying, the chest also allows your armor value
Oh wait, I misread that. Deal no non-lightning damage, so you'll only deal lightning damage. My bad.
to mitigate lightning damage in addition to physical. Though this is potentially a very powerful damage boosting chest, getting enough armor to survive lightning damage may prove an interesting build challenge. Following our very apparent lightning theme for uniques today, I can also show the new unique Topaz Ring, Storm Secret. This ring allows Herald of Thunder to trigger its lightning storm effect when you shock an enemy, and it also increases the frequency of the storm strikes. You could indeed wear 2 of these rings and become a serious avatar of the Tempest, but keep in mind that the ring also deals you 250 lightning damage whenever Herald of Thunder hits an enemy. Although I'm pretty sure some creative players will find some ways of turning this drawback into an actual advantage. Herald of Thunder cast when damage taken builds.
There you go.
Could be something else. In other
Pretty
news,
cool.
Delirium will be making its way to the core game, bringing the popular cluster jewels along with it. Because Delirium was made to interact with other game mechanics, the chance of encountering a Delirium mirror will be tied to the amount of other additional content in the area. So stacking endgame maps with a bunch of extra layers of content will increase the chances of a Delirium mirror appearing. In the lead up to the expansion launch set for June 19th, you can also jump on and test the new Vulkan Renderer beta, which many players have already been reporting is giving solid performance increases. You can actually enable it right now from the graphics option from the main menu to help with testing. And that is it for now. Let me know your first impressions on.
It's really cool. Oh, that's my other. Alright. What else do we got? Path of Exile Harvest. Path of Exile Harvest, Ashabi is cultivating the sacred grove and ancient garden of mysterious power. Plant seeds that grow into dangerous enemies and craft the life force of your items. Our June expansion contains a harvest challenge, powerful new crafting options, 8 new skills, 2 new support gems, revamps, 2-handed weapons, warcry skills, brands, slams, and the passive skill tree itself. We've also introduced 12 new unique items and rebalanced over 50 existing. Sounds really good. I like the brand. I'm either going to be playing brand or a slam, the brand slam league. So I'm going to be going solo self-found. Sounds cool. You're going to have a lot of good crafting options. Sacred Grove. Is it beautiful? Yes. I believe it is to be older than the Eternal Empire, older than the Val. I'm not so sure, but it does not look like their work. I like to believe it is a work of my ancestral Miri. I once blessed with a deep connection to the land. It would speak to me and nourish me, for that connection was severed, and in turn my tribe severed their connection to me. I was alone, lost. The land spoke no more until I found this place. Oshabi. Planting. Release a random physical modifier crafting effect. Harvest. So you plant that when you harvest, get a physical modifier for crafting. 10 wild. So these are the ones, the higher NCs are the ones where you're going to need like the juice guys, pretty like power up these guys, water them pretty much. So those seeds to grow dangerous and rewarding monsters, while most seeds grow easily, rare higher tier ones require more careful planning but yield more valuable results. Seems really cool concept for the league. The monsters are ready to harvest, slaughter them, and claim their life force. Every enemy you fight in the Sacred Grove is one you potentially planted. Customize your combat oriented characters, capabilities, and rewards you. Really colorful and brightly. The monsters. Cool. Dual Legion scare, very additional Legion. Contains a war horde. That new. Tribute to the goddess. Watch it. No, that's not new. Scared. Every monster you defeat in the grove grants you a crafting option. Performing one of these powerful crafts consumes life force from the monster you harvested in order to maximize your life force and hence crafting potential. You'll want to take on as many monsters as you dare handle. Harvest crafting provides powerful directed crafting to an extent that Path of Exile is never. As you build the ultimate garden, you'll discover exotic seeds with specific needs that must be met in order to grow. Various pipes, dispensers can help fertilize your garden. Any remaining life force. The dispenser encourages growth at the cost of condensed life force. Stores condensed life force. Extracts life force from harvests. Cool. So you pretty much like use condenser, store it, select it. You need to put one of these next to each one of your crops. This will go in between or to another one, and we'll store and store it. It speaks of the legend of the three primordial beasts, Ursi, Dinar, and Namarum. For those able to cultivate these rare seeds, the immense monsters that emerge can yield harvests, but most valuable. The bosses take it. Okay. That's that cluster jewel you already see. Or that notable Gnostic thing. Pretty cool. Could be a nice heal over time. As long as you have adequate mana. Weapon improvements. Two-handed weapon improvements. Melee skills have been recategorized as slams. We introduce a new slam skill and support gem was also revamped several existing slams with new effects, improved functionality, and greater power for two-handed weapon use. This of war support. Tectonic slam has been reworked. That's just like so. We don't know what the new slam skill is. Then war cries have also been reworked. And 4 new war cries have been added. I think we only know of one new one, and that's Seismic Cry, which actually looks really cool. Really taunts enemies. It no longer regenerates mana, but now grants a percentage of your weapon damage to each of your allies based on the power of nearby enemies. It also causes your next 2 attacks to become exerted, granting a bonus to your damage. Okay, so pretty cool. No more mana regen, but a damage bonus. This one exerts and taunts, and makes it easier to stun with Seismic Cry. Lethal Brand. 3 new brands, 1 brand support gem. Vamped brands. A lot more versatile with how their core mechanics work. Placed on the ground, Penance Brand will attach to a nearby enemy and can become active. Its energy builds up and spreads to additional nearby enemies. Each time it activates, quickly dividing and spreading into enemies. The brand is moved the energy on, so it doesn't do damage till it dies. And Arcanist Brand by enemy during leak spells in a. That seems really cool. I'm tempted to either go this Arcanist Brand or Earthquake build. Two-hand Earthquake. So we've seen this. We already talked about this chess piece. They're actually interesting. This is actually a lot better than it was before. Just add some new build possibilities. These seem like they would synergize. So these all seem like they would synergize well together. Something like a lightning, kind of like lightning god character or something would be cool. Delirium in the core game. That's good. I mean, Delirium was overall a good league, and it'll get improvements over time, become better. So, and you can see it less, and you can also choose just not interact with it all. And the Vulcan render, which I used earlier, it seems to be adding some new improvements. That red one looks badass. Quarter packs. Check them out real quick. That one is pretty cool. That one is fucking crap. Probably gonna have to get that one. Oh, but those fucking wings are dope. I'd still rather have that one though. That one is looks cool. Alright, well that is that for Path of Exile Harvest. June 19th. 16 days. Looks cool. I'm excited. I will be playing solo self-found. I will be live on Twitch the day of release, right at release. So, see you there. 86. Wow.